In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things you should do the day before taking your PMP exam. My name is Andrew Ramdial, and I'm the author of this best-selling PMP study guide, PMP Exam Prep Simplified, that you can find on Amazon. Now, let's go ahead and get started. Now, these 5 things that I'm going to review, most of it pertains just to your PMP exam, but some of these tips you can use for any of your certification exams, as I've been using them over my career of 20 plus years, and I've taken over 100 certification exams. Let's get started. Thing number 1 is to get a good night's sleep the night before your test. This exam in particular, 230 minutes, nearly 4 hours, is a marathon to run. You want to be able to have the stamina and the energy it takes to run that exam. If you don't, you might get fatigued and start reading less or not comprehending as much as you read the exam questions, as the questions are tricky. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you get a good 8 hours recommended worth of sleep the night before. Now, I know that most of you are probably going to be nervous, and this happens to me too when I'm taking a test. You get nervous the day before coming up into the exam. You get a little bit nervous, and it's hard to sleep, and that's difficult. You don't want to be the one that doesn't sleep the night before and go into a 4-hour marathon. Your chances of failing that exam will drastically rise if you don't get a good night's sleep. So here's my tip on that. If you're a nervous person or you get a little bit of anxiety before your exam, which is probably going to be most of us, here's my recommendation. Let's say you have an exam 8 o'clock Thursday morning. What I would do is Wednesday morning, the day before, I would wake up around 3 or 4 o'clock. Now, I do this quite often. Not every day, but the day before my exams that I'm a little nervous about, I'll wake up at around, for me it's 3 o'clock. For you, 3, 4 o'clock or something. And I'm going to stay awake all day. Get a little bit of exercise in and do some daily routines. Try to keep your mind a little bit off of the exam. We'll talk of things to do that particular day, but you want to keep your mind just as far away from the exam as possible as the day starts to progress. And you want to tire yourself out. So if you wake up really early, come Wednesday night, you're really tired. And come Wednesday night, I want you to be so tired that you're not even thinking about that exam. You're just going to go to bed, get a really good night's sleep. So my tip there on how to get a good night's sleep, wake up early the day before. All right, so make sure you get a good night's sleep. All right, thing number 2 is to review the mindset section of, if you have this study guide or you have my e-learning courses or live classes. By the way, the live class comes with this book. So in this, or in the e-learning course, you find the mindset section. As you guys know, here on my YouTube channel, I do these live sessions, and people come back and they say, oh, Andrew, I passed. And everyone keeps saying that, you know what, the mindset section was so important, it was so good. That mindset section in this book or in the e-learning course will take you no more than an hour to go through. I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure to review this mindset section the day before the exam. That way, when you get into that exam room or you get into the exam engine, if you're doing it at home, you're going to be more likely to remember some of those tips. Don't forget the mindset. Apply them to every question. Thing number 3 is to review your formulas the day before. Now, I say review. I didn't say learn. There is a difference. Learning the formulas, you should have done that way before your exam, coming up towards your exam. The day before, just make a quick run through, know your formulas. Now, I know the current exam really doesn't have a lot of formulas, but I am getting students telling me that some of these students are having calculation questions. So you should review your formulas and know your formulas for things like CV, SV, CPI, SPI. Thing number 4, stop studying early. Don't spend the entire day before the exam studying. I know a lot of people do that. I don't recommend it. This video is my tips, right? And I don't do it. I would say spend a few hours in the morning. Remember, you woke up very early Wednesday morning. Remember, you got your exam, let's say Thursday. You woke up very early. Maybe in that early morning hours, you can do a couple hours of studying, review the mindset, reviewing your formulas, reviewing some of your processes, your terms, your definitions, and so on. But stop studying early. Maybe afternoon, mid-afternoon, just stop, 2, 3, just stop studying. You have planned your exam a while back. You shouldn't start to really drastically study the day before. So what you want to do is you want to stop studying and go outside, get a little bit of exercise, try to refresh your mind. Take a walk with the dog. Go for a nice drive. Hang out with some family members. By the way, don't drink alcohol. Never drink alcohol. Like, it's something I should relate to step one. Never drink alcohol the day before your exam. I don't recommend taking sleeping medications, because if you wake up drowsy, you wake up with a hangover if you drink alcohol. I know sometimes allergy medications I take also messes me up the day after. So you don't want to do any of that, right? You want to make sure you get a good night's sleep. You want to wake up nice and fresh again. So notice I'm going back to topic one. All right, the fifth thing that you're going to do, and I think it's going to be one of the most important things that you're going to do before the exam, is to set up your space or travel to the testing center. Let me explain. So there's two ways to take your exam: in person at a testing center or at home. Now, let's start with the in-person testing center. What I recommend to do is the day before, if you have not done this, is to give a test run to that travel center. You should know where the travel center is. You should know how long it takes to get there and all the travel directions of how to get there. You don't want to wake up the day of the exam and then have to look for directions and know how to get to this particular testing center. The less stress you have on the day of the test, the better for you. You do not want to get in there late. If you show up to that testing center, I think it's over 15 minutes late, you forfeit your exam. Not to mention the incredible stress of running there. So what I would suggest to do is travel to the testing center. Now, some of you may work next to a testing center. That's different, and you don't have to do this. But I would suggest you travel there. You know how to get there. Get your directions right. Again, you don't want to be stressed on that day. If you are taking the in-home exam at home, I strongly recommend the day before to set up your workspace. Do not try to set up your workspace on the day of the test. Remember, the workspace, like if it's this desk, it has to be totally clean. There can't be anything on it. You shouldn't have multiple monitors connected to your computer. You got to test your camera. You have to test your mic. So these are things you're going to want to try out. Work with your IT person, whoever that is, maybe a family member, or maybe it's you or somebody at work or something like that can help you out. Make sure all your tech works. I can't emphasize that enough. You don't want to start that exam. Let's say exam starts at 10 in the morning. You don't want to start your exam 10 in the morning and realize that your camera doesn't work. And then you got to reschedule your exam. This is just going to add more stress to you. You don't know how many times I've heard students tell me this. I have to reschedule my exam because something didn't work and so on. So you don't want that. All right, this is my quick video on these 5 tips. I can't emphasize enough. Make sure to get a good night's sleep. Review your mindset section was number 2. Number 3, make sure you review your formulas. Number 4, stop studying early, get some exercise, clear your mind. And number 5 I should say, is to make sure that you travel to the testing center if you're going there, or set up your workspace the day before the test.